Steve, I'm sick of doing this interview. I'm sure you're sick of doing this interview after away games. What the heck went on today?
Well, Burns, you have to say it's an awful trait which has crept into the last 3 or 4 games that we've played, with an expectation whether we can't handle the expectation and the pressure that puts on. I really struggle to put my finger on a performance which I've seen and witnessed the team play on 2 days ago to what I've witnessed today is chalk and cheese and night and day. And it's the frustration which obviously we all have, and especially myself, where we simply didn't perform to anywhere near the level of what's required. And unless we arrest that away from home, especially, up until the last 3-4 games, okay, you accept that you're going to get beat away from home now and again, but it's a certain way. And the last 3 or 4 games, especially today, first half, we couldn't have played any worse if we had tried, and it's a huge concern for all of us, and something we'll have to eradicate.
You said at Leeds that first half performance won't happen again. Has it happened again today?
Yeah, unfortunately, first half in particular. I have to say, just after half time, you want the officials, when you're not playing well, and I can understand they can make wrong decisions. Tuba's a yard onside when he goes through, and also the ball's a yard over the line in the last minute. And you need a break like that sometime when you haven't played so well, and need them to do the jobs properly. But if the truth be known, and I'm not one for all the bull, then we were nowhere near the level of what's required from 1 to 11 today. Nowhere near, individually, as a team, collectively, didn't do enough to win a match in the championship.
You, like everybody else, scratching your head about that then?
Of course.
Because you've got to sort it out.
Look, at the end of the day, I take the full responsibility, and we all understand when the one takes the full responsibility whose fault it is, of course. And as I've said many times, and you've interviewed me hundreds of times, you get beat. As long as you get beat with your boots on and you get beat in a certain way, then you accept it. Today, when nobody performs, you scratch your head and say, well, why? Okay, we've had a game 48 hours ago, who cares? We've got to be better than what we are today and what we've thrown up today. And as I've said, I won't accept it. The only thing I can do is change personnel. We haven't got a bucket load of money where I can go and say to the board, come on, I need to change 4 or 5. So we have to crack on and make sure that we start performing to the level which obviously we're seeing at home and can't see it away from home. That's got to be mentality. And if it continues, it's going to derail us, because you can't keep performing like that away from home, because you won't get anything in the championship.
Are they mentally weak?
No, I'm not going to criticise. The plain facts are there for everybody to see and make their own judgment. And certainly in the last month or so, it's got to be a mentality. I can't say that it's a weakness, because that would be unfair on the big, strong personalities that we have got. But certainly as a team and collectively, too many times, Rotherham, Leeds and today, is an awful trait, and it leaves a frustration for everybody.
Comes to your door, what can you do differently?
Well, we've got to try and do something different. Obviously I can change personnel, but I changed 3 or 4 today to try and give us a bit of freshness and a bit of impetus, but we made mistake after mistake. We give the ball away, we created, they were a yard quicker than us all over the pitch in the first half. So you have to say, well, the only thing that you can really do is, away from home, change your system, change your personnel, change your formation, and something obviously we're going to have to look at before we take on QPR on Friday.
Do you ask the players what's going on? What do you ask them for feedback?
It can't be, in all of these games, there's one common denominator, that we're out with captain. We can't just keep relying on that. Without Dawson, then we're not recognisable as a team, because we've just seen the team perform at home, admittedly at home. But there's all sorts what you can analyse and look at, and this, that and the other, but away from home, of what I've seen in the last 3 games, it's just it's not acceptable, not good enough.
Are you angry, embarrassed?
Well, of course, I've been here a long time, and I think anybody who knows me and listens to me and once has known that, as I've said many times, if you get beat with your boots on, you accept it. When you get beat by not underperforming, and not just 1 or 2, but you have to say 8 or 9 or 10 today, underperformed, and that is a real concern, that they can't get themselves mentally right for a game in the championship, which you need to be above all ability, mentally you have to be ready for the challenge of what a Preston, a Leeds, a Rotherham throw at you. And when we are ready and we are take them on at home, then we understand how a good team we look. It was unrecognisable of what I've seen today.
Yeah. Robert Snodgrass, he said, look, if we play like that, we'll blow promotion. Would you
Absolutely.
agree?
Well, it's his first game back today, and you'd have to agree with him. You'd have to agree with him that you can't perform away from home. So we look at, of course, personnel. We look at all sorts of things, formations, systems. But as I've said repeatedly, formations, systems, really, it comes from within to go and perform and make sure that you contribute for your team. And today we didn't have enough to count on.